Hey, what's poppin', people? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. Hope you're doing well. I really do hope that, and welcome back to Chelsea News, of course, the daily series here on this channel where I reflect on what's being said about Chelsea. Lots popping off. Graham Potter, reportedly heavily backed in the January transfer window, but days away now, ladies and gentlemen. Exciting transfer stuff there. We're going to reflect on an article from the Evening Standard talking about certain targets. Also, the young striker that Chelsea are trying to sign for free this summer, Youssoufa Moukoko. What did Erling Haaland say about this youngster when they were both at Dortmund together? And bearing in mind, Erling Haaland knows a thing or two about scoring goals. Very exciting stuff indeed. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for dropping a like. If you want to support the content, it's just a click of a button. Like, subscribe, etc., etc. But, ladies and gentlemen, this video is brought to you by OneFootball. Look how big my face is all of a sudden. OneFootball is an entirely free companion app, so why wouldn't you use it? And fortunately, not only is it free, it's the best out there. Lots popping off, of course, with the World Cup, as well as club football stories returning. But of course, the January transfer window looms as well. And if you want the biggest stories in football and the match statistics, lineups, results, etc. at the click of, well, all at your fingertips, or indeed a website, just click the link in the top of the description and go check out OneFootball now. Minor glitch, transitional page, and back in the Stamford Bridge studio. Right, before we hop into this article and talk about a certain few players, because I wanted to go through one by one, as I was really interested in hearing what you guys, or reading what you guys had to say in response to these certain players. I'll give you my opinion as we go through, but I am really keen to hear what you guys think, so I'll be looking forward to reading the comments after I publish this video. Right, first of all, Youssoufa Moukoko, the Dortmund centre-forward, the 18-year-old that apparently scored 4,000 million goals at youth level, but, of course, in the first team is doing very well as well, scoring lots of goals. Well, he's got nine goal involvements in limited minutes, looking really, really good. So he's 18 years old, and a few years ago when Erling Haaland was still at Dortmund, and of course creating headlines all over the gaff, Haaland scoring loads of goals for club and country in Europe and Germany, etc., etc. When asked about Moukoko, he says this: Moukoko is much better than I was at his age. I have never seen such a good 15-year-old in my life. So this is obviously when he was playing youth football, scoring like ridiculous amounts of goals. Who, by the way, Haaland was still ruddy good when he was a teenager. He was saying that this kid is much better than I was. Of course, since he's come into the first team, Moukoko, and he's looking very good indeed. And he would present an opportunity to be a free transfer in the summer. When also interviewed after a game in the Bundesliga, Haaland said this. He says, and this might be hyperbole, this might be just sensationalism to like build up a youngster, but he says, I think he's the biggest talent in the world right now. Well, okay, I mean, I'm getting this from Twitter. I'm guessing that's what he's saying about Moukoko, but he's already waxed lyrical about the youngster, saying he's never seen someone that good at that age. I just wanted to reference this because Erling Haaland knows a thing or two about scoring goals. Granted, we all sort of dreamt for a while that we could sign Endrick, that youngster, but he's 16. Endrick wouldn't be able to feature for a first team until 2 years, so Real Madrid have got him, it looks like, but you won't see him even get a sniff of their first team for 2 years. Whereas Moukoko could be, good to go. Yeah, I apologise for that joke. He's a couple years older, and he's already scoring goals in, first team European top 5 league football. Anyway, that's exciting stuff. I just wanted to reflect on those positive Erling Haaland comments, but let's move on. Right then. So, we are going to jump into an article here on the Evening Standard written by a chap called Jonathan Gorey. Nice, maybe he should have been into the horror scene. Chelsea FC transfer news: £78 million Joško Gvardiol battle. Kingsley Coman latest João Felix price tag revealed. Now, a lot of people are talking about João Felix and his availability probably in the January transfer window, which is absolutely worth a conversation, I think. Let's have a little read then. Graham Potter is expected to be backed in the January transfer window, despite a stuttering start to life at Chelsea. Co-owners Todd Bowley and Clear Lake Capital have already spent big overhauling the squad, undertaking a record-breaking summer in the transfer market, though will continue to make money available for further reinforcement. While the winter market is a notoriously arduous one, especially after a tournament, Potter will push for new additions as he bids to stamp his authority on the squad. And with that in mind, let's have a look at some of the January transfer rumours. Will he push? I think Potter's not the kind of guy to push for transfers, but I think should he be offered and given the opportunity for transfers, it'd probably be like, I'm a clever coach, regardless to what your opinion on Potter is. He is an intelligent, clever coach. He would probably see that Chelsea squad and be like, yes, dysfunction, incompatibility, disharmony, all that kind of stuff. And ultimately missing pieces. So this will be an opportunity for him to remedy that. Joško Gvardiol, the Croatian international, has previously been on the interest at Chelsea, who are keen to push for a deal over the course of the summer. Of course, we've reported on that and recently referenced it as well on the channel. Joško saying about how, yes, he was linked with Chelsea. It would be great to go to Chelsea because Kovacic is there, yada, yada, yada. And Chelsea have indeed been scouting the Croatian centre-back for a long while. Of course, his profile has risen yet again since the World Cup. He's playing this afternoon against Brazil. So, see how well he does there, of course, but he's make no bones about it. Lots of clubs want to sign him. So, yeah, still, after a series of excellent performances at the World Cup, the battle to sign the defender has intensified. Reports in Spain suggest Real Madrid, here we ruddy go, could make a £78 million move for the RB Leipzig star, while Manchester City are also believed to be keen. Don't Man City, do either of these clubs need this centre-back? Real Madrid have just signed Rudiger, who can't get into the team, because they've got Alaba and Militao and stuff playing over him and stuff. So why would they spend £80 million on another guy? What is happening? And, and again, Man City, they play Aki all the time now. They've got Diaz, they've got Laporte, they've got John Stones, who starts for England. Chill out. And they've got, what's his face? The Swiss guy, who's an amazing maths genius. His name evades me, but yeah, they signed him in the summer as well. Come on. Stop signing centre-backs, both of you silly sausages. Madrid have already beaten Chelsea to the signing of Brazilian youngster Endrick and could wreck their plans again. Well, yes, they got Endrick, but we might get the aforementioned Moukoko, and it just seems silly for them to go for Gvardiol. Anyway, let's move on. Next player. Well, let me know what you think about that, and let's move on to the next player. Kingsley Coman. So this is an interesting one. We have talked about this recently. While the club are thought to be closing in the summer deal for his Gvardiol's teammate Moukoko, which seemingly looks like it's done, Chelsea are reportedly keen on another French attacker. According to the French outlet Sport, the Blues have offered Christian Pulisic in a part exchange for the Bayern Munich star. Yeah, so it would be a part exchange, largely because Pulisic will have 18 months left on his deal. Next month, and Kingsley Coman is in a long-term deal. Right, with Rafa Leao reportedly in talks with AC Milan over a new deal, Coman is looking like a viable alternative. This is what I like about this, that it's an alternative. So they're like, this is a contingency plan. The priority is still Rafael Leao. Now, I voiced concerns recently on Twitter. I had a very interesting exchange with the Athletic journalist Liam Twomey, because he was talking about how, look, Chelsea need to go all out for Leao. He is a tricky, talented technical winger, but he has the strength and height, the physical presence to be an appropriate winner in the Premier League, which I'm inclined to agree with. But I think I've spoke about it on the channel before. I also highlighted the fact how his pressing numbers and his passing numbers are pretty dismal, and if you're going to come to a top 3-4 team in the Premier League, you've got to be able to press, you've got to be able to pass. Certainly Graham Potter as a coach will absolutely demand that. But Rafa Leao as his player profile is a wild card. In these games where you can't break things down, he can bring you a touch of the Eden Hazard. Of course, Eden Hazard's passing was immaculate though, so there is that. Tricky. I do think if he said to me, right, who would you prefer? Would you prefer Kingsley Coman or Rafa Leao? I, like many of you, would say Leao. But who knows? Coman is a talented player, could it work? Maybe. Also very interesting to see Leao wished Reece James a happy birthday on his social media, on his Instagram, which might seem trivial, and maybe it is to a degree, but, he's not international teammates with Reece James. He's not club teammates with Reece James. He played against Reece James twice and got, knocked out by him in the Champions League, or not knocked out, excuse me, because they both qualified, but, they took 6 points off Milan, Chelsea, at Leao's expense. But I think they've been maybe exchanging messages. Of course, Reece James has already said he's like one of the best in the world that he's played against, and he on Twitter, and he replied to him. Now he's wishing him a happy birthday, and it just seems like something's going on there. And it makes me think of after we signed Wesley Fofana, and he came to Chelsea, and he was doing like the Chelsea media interviews. He was talking about Reece James sliding into his DMs saying, "Come to Chelsea, bro. Come play with me in defence and stuff like that." So it could be happening again. He's like, "Come to Chelsea, Rafa. I'm gonna play some. I'm gonna cross some cross-field balls over to you, so you can take the ball and run and score some goals, mate." Hopefully, I, like many of you, would love Leao to come, but I do have reservations about, like I say, his ability to press and pass and all that. He's still young though. Well, he's quite young. He's like early 20s, early mid 20s. Still, he looks like he could be a star. All right, now finally, in terms of another attacker, João Felix. This is interesting. So he wants out basically of Atletico Madrid. They spent like 120 million euros on him. I think they're asking for 100 million euros back, which is fair enough considering he's still very young and his profile's still very high, and he's like starting for Portugal, etc., etc. Let's read. When a player as high profile as João Felix reportedly becomes available, clubs like Chelsea are always going to be linked. Seemingly unhappy with life at Atletico Madrid, easy for me to say, the Portugal star is proving his class at the World Cup. Now, Standard Sport understands that Atletico have placed an £86 million, which is 100 million euros, price tag on the former Benfica forward, although Chelsea would first of all have to move the likes of Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech. If Pulisic and Ziyech leave and you end up with a Felix and an Moukoko, and that's, without talking about Leao or whatever, I think Chelsea are just basically like spreading their bets here on really exciting attacking talent. It looks like it will be Moukoko plus one. One would have to assume. Now, would it be Moukoko plus, Leao, failing that Felix, failing that Kingsley Coman? Do you know what I mean? Could it be that? Now, a lot of people, João Felix, he's never scored a lot of goals. He's clearly very talented. And he just screams Kai Havertz to me, and I mean that in a complimentary / problematic way. Like, no one knows. I was listening to an Athletic podcast, I think, analyze João Felix, and they said, he moves like Kaká. People used to say that about Havertz. Well, he doesn't really have a position, does he? He can play wide, he can play 9, he can play number 10, he can play second striker. I was like, Havertz. Do you know what I mean? Havertz had more of an explosive season than João Felix has had in the top 5 leagues. Havertz scored loads of goals and assists for Leverkusen. But, João Felix hasn't, I'm pretty sure he hasn't done that yet. But, I don't know, at least to Kai Havertz is like, benefit and detriment. He's 6'1" or 6'2" and can win headers in the 6-yard box. So that kind of like helps him out in terms of like playing like the centre forward position sometimes, which João Felix couldn't do. Yeah, so the season before he was bought, he scored 15 Liga NOS goals and 7 assists. So that is 22 goal involvements and 21 appearances for Benfica when he was a teenager. So he went for 120 million euros. And since in the league for Atletico, he's scored 6 goals, 7 goals, and 8 goals. And he's currently on 3 goals. He's never reached double digits. In fact, his like career goals are still just over 50. Like, it's pretty pretty low. Like, he hasn't, but you have to understand he's playing for, you know, a really stinky side, also a stinky play style in Atletico Madrid under Diego Simeone. So you have to take that in. You can clearly see he's very talented, the way he moves the ball, and, you know, he's clearly a worldie, but he just screams Kai Havertz for me, because they're both sort of these almost Galactico jack of all trades without heavy production, but clear amounts of talent. Still, will I get excited if we sign him? Of course, but that's because it's my inner FIFA fan, you know, like my teenage gaming reaction to a big name with high stats, man, like high FIFA stats or whatever. Let me know what you think, though. It's an absolute tricky one. I do think João Felix and Kai Havertz are the same. Anyway, let me know what you think. Comment down below. Thank you for subscribing. I look forward to reading your thoughts. And do check out OneFootball by clicking the link just down in the top of the description. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Peace.